We saw Glass.
We did. Here's to that.
Oh!
I specialize in those individuals who believe they are superheroes.
Good for you.
So Glass, like, sitting through that movie was difficult. Not because it was really that painful, but it was long. It felt long.
It felt very long.
I don't know how they did that. I mean, that's the superhero ability as far as I'm concerned. So I wasn't, groaning and wanting to leave the movie, but the thing that happened to me about at least a dozen times was it'd go to a new scene, and then I'd realize what's happening, and I'd go like...
Yeah, I would say that that's about the same face that I was making.
For the first half of the movie, the plot is there's some guys who are kind of like superheroes, and they're like tracking each other, and then they get caught by an organization of some kind.
That wants to tell them that no, they're not superheroes.
Yeah.
Because apparently that's a really huge problem.
I guess.
The psychiatrist talking to them and saying, I specialize in people who feel grandiose about themselves, and you people aren't superheroes, And I need to convince you that you're not superheroes because you're not. And that's the plot of the film, and it just feels so weak and stupid. Like, you really felt like it was restricted because, you just want to go into spoilers.
Yeah.
We can't really talk about it without going into spoilers.
Yeah. If all they were going to do is kill him anyway, why didn't they just kill him at the very beginning? Mm-hmm. They knew they were superheroes, right? Or super people. Yeah. At least as far as I could tell.
Yeah, well, she said that, like, it's like the most humane thing.
What
do you remember this?
Yeah, that was on the line where I'm like... What?
Yeah, we live in an age now where superhero films are everywhere, and so the bar is set all the way high up here. And so M. Night Shyamalan is trying to make it so, like, oh, how can I make it seem like that they are superheroes while we're not becoming superheroes? And you can really tell that the budget restricts that, because the only thing that we really get to see is that Bruce Willis's character is, I guess, super strong, and then James McAvoy's character is also kind of super strong, and that's about it. Okay, and you just see is like, okay, how do we show it? Like, okay, how about Bruce Willis punches a few doors? Oh, and that's it. And then it's the same thing with the other guy, James McAvoy. Is like, oh, he's really strong, so let's just show him like hulking out and all that. But it's like, well, wait, I've seen the Hulk do this before. Like, there's no CGI version of him or anything, It's just, I just didn't buy it at all. They get into this whole thing about, oh man, I guess they really are superheroes, because at the very end, like, you see James McAvoy like flipping a car and all that, but it's not like this CGI superhero thing that you would have expected in like the Marvel film or a DC film. Like, it feels like a movie where someone was like in the 8th grade, and then they just were like, oh, how can we try to make it look like that he's a superhero? Let's try to get him to flip a car. And you could tell that, like, oh, but we can't flip the car too much because that'll destroy it, and I can't afford that. So, they just flip it on his side, and you can even see that, like, James McAvoy, like, his traps are going up, on his neck, like, whenever he goes into beast mode or whatever, like, especially when he's hopping the car, and then he's, like, starts shouting and being like, it was like, this is comical. This is just, it's stupid.
Yeah, it didn't work for me. I hear you. Like, the ways that they showed them being strong are pretty much things regular people can do, like punching the side of a van to dent it. Okay, you can do that. It's not like an impossible thing.
It looked like that his fists went further than was expected.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying is that, like,
he wasn't punching holes in it.
Right. Like, this isn't convincing enough to tell us that, like, this is a superhero. Because throughout the entire film, M. Night Shyamalan's trying to come up with this thing. It's like, oh, are they superheroes? Are they not superheroes?
The budget is telling us that the movie wants us to think that they're superheroes, but it can't convincingly show us that they are. It's trying to, but it's failing.
You can't really convince us either way because your budget is so restricted that it's just kind of like, what? All right,
like, this
whatever.
is supposed to be the moment where we are really impressed by the super strength.
And especially when they keep on teasing this tower that's going to show up. Yeah. And I'm thinking to myself, this is never showing up in this film.
No, it didn't fool me for a second. It's like, oh, we're going to go have a super big fight on the tower. We're going to blow it up, and everyone's going to see how awesome we are. As soon as they say that, I'm thinking, no, they're not. They're not going to do that.
Yeah.
Instead of denting the side of the car, if he punched through it and like he's ripping the metal apart, that would look more super strength. Or when he's like tipping over the car, throw it. That's
Yeah,
what
yeah, no,
super-
that's what I was expecting. Like, he was going to flip it or something like
Yeah.
that. But, yeah, it just felt like that he was so restricted, and all the money went towards Samuel L. Jackson and all of them. And the one part I really did like about the film was James McAvoy.
Yeah.
Every time he came on, it was so much fun just to see him play his part. You could tell that M. Night Shyamalan was like, oh, no, I got to make something fun here. Let's put James McAvoy in there. Because that was repetitive a lot.
Yeah.
He really kept on showing up. But he was a joy to watch. I really want to see more films with him in it because I really want to see his acting range because he just did a great job just playing all these different parts.
Sure. I think that's a typical thing that actors actually do to practice, which makes it a little less impressive because most actors can do that, or they have
I guess, but at the same time, for this, James McAvoy to me felt like that he was actually those characters to me. Like he actually, because in this role, he's supposed to believe
Sure.
that he's actually these people and such.
Oh,
So
yeah, he was really good. I'm not trying to take away from that. It's just like that was like the one-trick pony that kept being trotted out in front of the audience to keep us engaged.
Oh, I see. Oh,
know?
okay. So you brought me a top quality steak,
Yeah.
and then after a while, like, oh, you brought me a top quality steak again.
Right. That's a fun aspect of the movie to have. I just think they relied on it pretty heavily because the other actors weren't really doing much. Like, I think Sam Jackson didn't say anything until the second half of the movie. And then he started finally having some lines. But most of the first half, he's like,
And especially in the very, very beginning, you just show James McAvoy, he's kidnapped the cheerleaders and such, and he's done his thing. It's just kind of showing like, oh, look, here he is. Like, you remember Split, right?
and one of his personalities is scary. That's what we get from that.
Or not even that, because at that point, like, he's the woman, and he comes in on the heels and is like, who wants a PB&J? And then it cuts, like, oh, glass, like,
Oh, yeah.
ugh. We are in the era now where you can't just walk into a film anymore. You have to watch everything preceding it, and if you're not, then you are lost. And you're just kind of SOL.
Yeah, and this is a great example of that because neither of us had seen the previous films. I considered watching them before we saw this, but then I'm like, I think it'd be interesting to just see it without seeing those and then have a discussion about the nature of sequels. Like, does everyone have to see all the previous movies to get it?
Yeah.
And in this case, I want to say it would probably help.
I was trying to go from an outside perspective, so I know James McAvoy has like multiple personalities
Yeah.
and such. But at the same time, when I was in there, I was watching him, and the psychiatrist never says like he has multiple personalities.
It made me feel like you're looking at the very edge of a painting. Unbreakable might be the Mona Lisa, like the middle of it. So you recognize it. Oh, it's a person. I see what's going on. I see why people might like it. Then they make a sequel, and the sequel's like a little edge around the painting, So, oh, I see there's like a house over here, but I don't see the Mona Lisa. I just see the edge. So the third movie, this one, made it feel like I'm looking at like parts of the frame or like the very corners of the image.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I guess this is connected to something, maybe,
Yeah.
but that's all I know.
Yeah. He didn't do a good job with setting up or anything.
Yeah, like they brought back some characters like what the girl who
It's
was...
the girl from Split, Bruce Willis's kid, which, two things on him. One, like, it's the same actor, apparently. Two, he treated his dad like a coworker, buddy, friend. That was really weird. The third one is the mother.
Mother.
Samuel L. Jackson, Mr. Glass's mother.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the mother.
Oh.
That was the weird part, too. At the very end, they bring all of these three characters together that we don't really know that much about, and they haven't been that integral to the story. And they bring it up like, we saved the day! We took care of the evil organization! And it was like, I haven't really known about this evil organization until like the last 5 minutes of the movie. But okay, yeah. We got him!
Yeah, I totally agree. And the funny thing about that is that it felt like, oh, this organization, they must have like hinted this through the last two movies, right? I'm sure we just didn't get it because we didn't see the first two. But no, I looked it up online. They don't hint this organization at all. It comes out of nowhere in the last like 20 minutes of this movie.
And they don't even really explain it. I mean, they
Yeah.
show that like they have the tattoo
Sure.
on the wrist, but I was like, what's the tattoo mean? Well, what's going on?
Makes it sound like a cult.
Yeah. Did you pick up on the fact that like at the very end when they're all talking in the restaurant? I was thinking to myself, like, is the server and on the evil organization's plan?
Yeah.
Like, well, why can't you just do this somewhere different?
Because they only had the money to reserve a restaurant instead of build a set.
Yeah, that was probably it. Because M. Night Shyamalan lives in Philadelphia, and that's where it was filmed. So he was probably like, "Hey, can we film here, please? Like, you're my friend." Like, oh, okay.
Okay, but you have to be gone by 5 because we open at 5:30.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, come on, you're my friend. You owe me this. Like, fine. I don't know. But apparently M. Night Shyamalan's here to stay because this movie has made a ton of money. People keep on hiring him. I don't know why.
I don't know why people go see the movie. Like,
Unless you're reviewing it.
everyone that I've talked to has been disappointed when I told them that I didn't like it. Because I guess they all either liked Unbreakable or Split. I haven't seen those movies, so maybe seeing those movies would enhance this a bit.
Well, I've heard that those by themselves are good films.
That must be why this one's done so well, was because people like those movies.
That's what I was thinking, is that the only reason why M. Night Shyamalan did this was because he was banking on nostalgia. Because Split came out like
A couple years ago.
2 years ago or something like that. What a lot of people don't know is that actually Split is one of his old projects. It's an old script of his. And so he wrote that. Glass is new. So you have Split and like, oh wow, that's actually pretty good. Because that's what I've been hearing. And then you get Glass, it's like, oh.
I haven't seen the movies that most people hated. Well, I did see Last Airbender.
No.
The movie that never happened. But
Yeah, the movie that never happened.
But I saw like The Village. Some people hated that. I thought it was okay.
Yeah, M. Night Shyamalan's an interesting case because there's a lot of his early films where people are like, he's amazing. A lot of people in the beginning were like, he's the new Spielberg. Like, I remember seeing that everywhere. But yeah, it's just like Signs is a mixed bag, and Lady in the Water, that was the one where he really started to like nosediving. Cinematography, no. Music, no. Acting, no. Except for James McAvoy. Is everything no about this
It just
film?
wasn't fun.
I will either put a film on a grading scale of, is this entertainingly bad, or is this entertainingly amazing? This is just bad.
I was bored. I was kind of confused at the decisions they made to tell the story, because in the first half, everything's like kind of barely connected to one another, which is why I use that like painting analogy, because I feel like it feels like they're probably connected to something in a previous movie, but since I hadn't seen them, I don't know what it is. So it just left me feeling like there's all these little bits and pieces that aren't clearly connected. They're relying on things I don't know, and then once they come together, it's not satisfying. The twists that occur are pretty dumb because there's no build up to it. Yeah, the only fun stuff was watching McAvoy, ham it up a bit. That was about it, really.
Yeah. I can't really think of much else to say about the film. I say just pass it.
Yeah,